So I had a couple people in my comments telling me, go get a stove top. You need to go to the front.
If you're on your mobile device, the caption says Nicole gets evicted from her apartment and has to stay in a hotel with her 4 kids. Part 2.
This and get you. Baby, I went and got me one. Since y'all kept telling me to go, I got it. And I really thought they were going to give me a hot plate, y'all. I don't know why I thought they were going to give me a hot plate. But this is what they gave me. And I must say, they done wowed me again. Hell, they even gave me a pan. I'm going to go get a pot, too. Have a pot and a pan. Well, y'all, I just want to thank y'all for all the words of encouragement. Before I get any more further in this video, I really want to thank y'all. Because it's really not easy being a single mom of 4. And make sure you know it's being single by choice. I don't need nobody coming in my comments
What?
saying, never mind. I ain't even going to entertain y'all. Anyway, along with this video,
No, keep going. She was just about to elaborate and explain that. I was looking forward to hearing that explanation. Being a single mom by choice, and don't make any negative comments. What do you mean, don't make any negative comments? You're saying you appreciate the words of encouragement. Are they encouraging you to keep having kids? Because they need to stop that. Somebody needs to give you some constructive criticism. Because what happens if she has number 5? Then I think we would have wished that we would have left. I'm not going to say a negative comment, but a comment to just really. I'm going to go into it. Let's finish the video.
never mind. I ain't even going to entertain y'all. Anyway, along with this video, as you can see, everything they gave me done and set me straight. I just want to let y'all know that this hotel get a 10 out of 10. I really want to tell y'all the hotel. Some of y'all probably already, I'm just going to go on. It's the Home 2 Suites, man. It's a good hotel. Book you a room, book you a stay. But just don't come while I'm there, please. And make sure y'all following me for more updates later. So I had
Single by choice. I wish you would have unpacked that because I was waiting to hear that explanation. Because the statistics are very clear that that's not the way to do it. And we can almost predict what that's going to create. It's going to create more chaos on these streets and more degeneracy. But she basically is like, don't leave no negative comments. Don't say nothing negative. But what happens if you have number 5? Like, who can stop this? Who can put a stop and an end to this before it just gets completely out of control and before we have to look at your situation and say, there is no practical way that we can expect this woman to be able to take care of all these kids alone. We have to take care of her for the rest of her life, for the kids' sake. Why don't you have certain responsibilities that you have to do for the kids' sake? Because if you were struggling with 3, then I feel like you're not prioritizing your kids if you have a 4th, because that's going to make things harder on them. That's going to amplify the effects of the situation. And sometimes it's funny, right? I wouldn't recommend leaving negative comments, but have you ever like worked a job or something and sometimes somebody like coming at you immediately with why, like, how dare you do that, you're in trouble. Sometimes what's even worse is when they actually just inquire and try to understand what was your mindset like. Here's what I mean. Let's say you came in late 3 times last week. Sometimes it's scarier when your boss just says, hey, what happened here? Is everything okay? Why did you come in 3 times late last week? Can you explain that to me? Let me know what's going on. What were you thinking when you did that? Sometimes that's worse because that really will hold somebody accountable because they have to tell you what their thought process was. So I feel like what would be more productive is to look at the situation and say, you didn't know after the second kid that this was hard and then you went and doubled down? What was going through your mind? And then you're choosing to be single by choice, admittedly. Walk me through that. What's the thought process behind that? But you see, she didn't really want to go into the specifics and details of how she's thinking because I think what will ultimately come out is that it might be rooted in ego and maybe even selfishness. Y'all, before we get into the next clip, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know.
Help, any donations that I can get, whether that's through my GoFundMe or you're more than welcome to cash at me, and any help is appreciated. And I do give updates on my GoFundMe as well. But yes, this has been going on for a while because it never got taken care of from the jump, and again, due to my pregnancy and so forth. So I would truly appreciate any help that I can get you guys.
So, I don't know what this is saying. Is that what she was able to raise? But here's the thing, right? See, TikTok has become a begging platform. I think that when people want to come on here begging on TikTok, they should have to subjugate people to have, or they should have to subject people to have to like go through a Q&A with all their followers before they can set up a giving campaign, where they can actually ask questions like what I was elaborating in the first clip we watched, where we just like are curious of like, what was your mindset in this? Because if she did set that up, what I would be asking is, let me get this straight, just so we lay everything out cleanly. You had 2 kids already. You were in debt already. You already know that you don't have any family. You don't have a village that can help you. And you're just in the city by yourself with your 2 kids. I'm guessing if you were in debt, that means you had no savings as well. You were actually in the negative. So, what then led you to get pregnant, which would inhibit your ability to work? And then what it appears is whoever this guy that got you pregnant, which I highly doubt that you and him were just together for all this time with the 2 kids, and both the other 2 kids was his. And then on the third one where you're now freshly pregnant, that's when he just ended up and decided to leave. So it's probably a new guy. And then you end up freshly pregnant. And what I never understood is how women will be pregnant and single. Like you're newly pregnant and you're single. And you just had a newborn and now you don't even have help of the father or anything. You're just out on your own. How did we end up here? Why did we end up here? What was your situation before this? And what made you think that you were ready to do this? And then what I would want to know is moving forward, what are we going to do to make sure that this never happens again so that you don't follow down the path, which it looks like you're on track to be, like the first one we reviewed, where you have 4 kids. Now, I don't think that's mean. I don't think that's negative. I actually think that's productive and constructive. And I actually think that that is going to have more impact than donations or than everybody leaving encouraging messages will ever have. Because we need to really hash this out. Because clearly you're out here making decisions and you're not thinking. So we need to actually go deep in thought and understand the thought process, because clearly it's rooted in that. And if you don't change the thought process, then you're probably not going to change your behavior and ultimately change your circumstance.
I only had 48 hours to get my rent money or I'll be evicted from my first apartment. Welcome to Diaries of a Mad Black 20-year-old, where shit gets real. What might be embarrassing to some is my testimony and some others. So I'm just sharing how life goes as a 20-year-old living alone. Not gonna lie, homegirl, I'm so resilient. I'm the type to fall down, scrape my knee all the fuck up. Get back up, fall down again. This time my knee might fall off, but guess what? I'm gonna get back up and dust my shoulder. I felt so defeated yesterday, y'all, but honestly, God has the last say so. And once I realized that, I just found ways to make more. But y'all, so the first thing I did to start making me some money is I printed out me about 50 flyers from the library for free. We had to make about 4 visitor passes, but we was able to do it. Today we went outside, and since I live downtown, which is a central area, everybody down here, the junkies, the fame, I don't care who it is, the richest, anybody you could think of is down here. I said, let's go post my flyers. I created them on Canva, and I made my sale up, which is going to be $45 ponytails, $65 half up, half downs, and $80 quick views. You can't beat that, homie. As you can see, I was actually enjoying this. I love just giving myself props one day, Because one thing about me, homegirl, I don't let nothing or nobody bring me down. And y'all should be like that too. The flyer ain't down though, like, ooh, girl. But once I got done posting up all my flyers, we drove all the way out Jessup, Maryland from Baltimore. And by the grace of God, we was able to pawn some stuff and get about $300. So homegirls.
So she trying to put the flyer on the map. So when a tourist comes by, and look at this.
We was able to pawn.
So when a tourist comes by and they have no sense of direction, and they're trying to understand where they're going, they're going to see your little flyer that nobody's going to entertain and engage. You're hustling backwards. It's 2026. Listen, man, I love that she has a skill, apparently. Hair, which I see a lot of people have. And honestly, in this society, that is a high income skill, in my opinion. But how about you get a career and then do this and bring in extra money and just live a great lifestyle? Y'all love to travel. Y'all love to consume. Why not be like, okay, I can do hair and make extra money to be able to do the extra things that I want. And then my career can actually pay for my lifestyle and my future. To me, that's the simple option. If you got a skill, let it add on. But that doesn't have to be you just trying to grind and make this work as something sustainable to just be able to pay for your life. It's just not practical. Just get a career. I know she said she was resilient at the beginning. Be smart and resilient. And if you really are, then you'll find a way to do the side hustle in the extra hours of your work schedule. And that'll probably make you more valuable because you won't just be available all the time. And you'll be able to chunk in more people at once because you have a more limited time availability. And you'll be efficient. But even right now, you're putting up all these flyers that probably isn't going to yield very much. And you're using a lot of time and energy right now. It's fun. You're on the journey. You feel like you're making progress, but I mean, we just have to be honest. It's like when you're in a parking lot and somebody puts one of them flyers on your car or something. Man, you throw that stuff. You might drive off because you don't want to you don't know if they're around watching. But man, you toss that thing. You don't really look at it. People are too busy now. That's not how you're gonna do it. And unless you've got actual marketing dollars to be able to continuously put your thing in front of people's face, because a lot of times people have to see the same thing about 8 times before they finally actually pay attention to it, and people actually put marketing dollars to that. It seems like whatever she's trying to promote is on a time limit. So that means it's an actual event at a certain date and time. People aren't going to line all that up and show up at that event. It's just that simple. You gotta do something smarter. You gotta do something more effective if you actually want to change your life, because she's saying that she's getting evicted.
I confronted my apartment about trying to evict me and give me a 3-day vacay. So after today, we'll be done with this tiny little series about what is going on in my apartment complex. But let's just get straight into it. Once my cousin got home, we went to the front office to figure out what was going on. We told them everything that has happened in these last few days, about us receiving the 3-day vacay notice, about them saying if we do not pay the money that they're going to legally file for us to get evicted. We talked about how they have not responded to yet one email, and I sent about 3 to 4 different emails stating like, hey, what is going on? These are all the receipts. This is all the proof that you needed. Like, I had screenshots, I printed out PDF documents. I gave them everything necessary that they will need so they can see that we paid. So when we were telling him everything that was going on, he pulled up the ledger, because on the phone call, the lady said, I will send you, like, you can come down and you can view the ledger so I can show you how you owe $25. And what I'm wondering is, did she wipe our slate? Did she wipe those $25? Because I did say this is harassment and I might need to take up legal action. Because They were making our move out extremely more difficult than it should have been. And when he pulled up the ledger, he looked and he said, "Oh, you have a zero balance due. You don't owe anything." And I said, that's what I thought.
Can y'all stop bluffing, threatening to take legal action with people who actually have attorneys and can actually take legal action? They know you're not going to take any legal action. So let's stop throwing out empty threats that everybody already knows with their Naruto shirt on that you ain't about to take no legal action.
That's what I told the lady on the phone. I said, I do not remember her name, but I said, I called her at 9:44 a.m. today. I said, can I just talk to her? She's the manager, because she's the one who kept saying we owe y'all money. And I know I didn't owe any of y'all money. So I'm wondering, did they wipe it clear because we threatened legal action? Or did they wise up and realize it was an error on their part? There's no reason this should have lasted about 3 days to almost get freaking solved. There's no reason that we have to go through any of this, but we did. So now I'm just like, girl, will you just like, did you really need that $25 that bad? Like, do I need to give you my wallet and give you $25 in cash to make your day because you're giving broke? The apartment's giving broke. It's giving fake luxury. I would not even refer this apartment to an enemy. I don't have enemies or anybody I hate, but I don't have anybody I hate. I wouldn't refer this apartment to anybody. I would steer clear from it. And like I said, I'm leaving the apartment out. I'm not saying the name. If you want to know the name, I could DM you the name so you can know never live there if you live in Houston ever again. Or you could be like one of those spies and figure it out by seeing these little tiny parts of my unit. But problem is now solved. I'm just going to make sure when I'm moving out tomorrow that I give me written proof of what he told me today, that we owe no money, because I feel like you need written proof for everything.
Yeah, you really do. You really do. Some of these apartments will really like play on you, and because they don't keep good records, then they'll be coming after you like you owe them something, and they just didn't keep the right records, and they'll be spending all this stuff trying to get in touch with you. So that does happen. That does happen. Not everybody's equal, and you have to just keep everything written if you can. I agree with that. I try to do that. I hate it when I forget to like make sure that I got something in writing or just proof. And it's sad that you got to do all this, right? Because it doesn't really do nothing for you. You're really just protecting yourself. And now you got to try to keep this file and keep this record. But yeah, I am glad that she knows to do that. But they know you don't got no legal stuff. You ain't about to sue nobody, especially over no $25. Y'all, we're going to leave it there for the day. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So it's for smaller content creators, and you just press the hype button, then it shows the points. And we get more points per hype since we're smaller. And then also Patreon link below if you want to see self-improvement content. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.